Hello everyone, hello peeps, welcome back to another video on the mancubs channel. I hope you like that little intro scene that I've just done. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most copied, the most faked calculators ever perhaps. Was definitely up there, especially recently. Today we're going to be talking about the Casio FX991EX. And I've got two of them here. One of them is real, one of them is fake, and I want you to tell me in the comments which one do you think is the fake one. This one was a little bit easier, and thank you for my friend Sanjay for lending me his fake 991EX. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. First of all, if you have bought a fake one, I'm going to tell you some things that you should look out for to see if it actually is fake, because some of these are very convincing, alright? So the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is look at the printing, because often these fakes have less, the quality of the printing is not as good as Casio's. So, for example, let's look at the top here. They haven't even bothered to put Casio here. It should say Casio FX991EX classes. They have not even put the Casio. They have got the name of the calculator, but they've put scientific instead of classwiz, which is a bit odd. This is a real one. It says Casio here, FX991EX classwiz in that special classwiz font. So if you've got a particular fake that does not have as good of printing, as Casio, then obviously you can tell if it's a fake straight away. But if, for example, is really good at the top, then you can look at the quality of the printing on some of the buttons. So for example here, you can see that this summation button, you can see it's very blobby. A lot of the lines have sort of merged together. On the real one, this is what it looks like. You can see everything is much more distinct. You've got the summation symbol there, you've got the two boxes on the top for your lower and upper range, and you've got the expression over there. Again, if we look at the buttons, like for the numbers, and we've got the 4 operations here and whatever is down here, and compare it to the real one, you can see it's a lot more faded, a lot more grey than the real one. And if you look at particularly answer, I just want to bring this one up. It's not centered. The font doesn't all seem the same size. And like I mentioned before, it's a little bit grey. But if we go over here, you can see, like everything else here, it's got a nice dark readable font. It's centered here and the font looks to be the same size for all 3 letters. But imagine you've got a really, really nice fake and the printing is sublime. What a lot of fakes don't do is the solar panel. So if I turn both of these on, they look basically identical. But can you notice, I'm just going to get my real one for a moment. Can you notice in the corner we've got a little sun icon there? And I'm just going to get a playing card for this. If I take the playing card and I cover up that sun icon, do you see it goes away? When it's covered, that means it's not receiving any more light. When it's receiving light, that sun icon is there through the solar panel. But when I cover it up, that sun icon disappears because it's not receiving any more light. If I were to do the same with this fake, you can see it's got the sun icon there, right? But if I take my playing card and cover it up, you can see that sun icon does not go away. It stays. That means that either they haven't bothered to link the solar panel properly to that display, or the solar panel is indeed completely useless. Either one. But let's say that works perfectly fine. What we're going to look at now is the QR code. So there's 2 ways of doing this. Either you can go into menu and then press shift and QR up here on option, and it'll give you a QR code like that. Or what I'm actually going to do for this example is I'm going to put in a number. I'm going to put in the number 7, and when you do shift and QR where the option button is, that QR code should take you to the classpad.net website where it will give you the correct result. I'm showing you the results on screen right now. So the fake one, it actually gave me the result of root 2, and the real one, it's giving me the correct result of 7. You can try this with more complicated calculations or whatever, or if you do it in the table mode, then it'll draw you the graph. But you can see from that simple test that it's not legitimate, is it? Because the QR code is not leading us to the correct result on the ClassPad website. Now you've got to be careful because some of these websites can be quite dodgy. They don't lead you all to the ClassPad website, but sometimes you have to try it, see if it works or not. But yeah, that's the QR code. But if your QR code magically does work, you've passed all of these tests so far, we're going to look at the calculation side of things. So I'm going to type in an integral that we're going to calculate. So the integral of sine x over x between 0.001. Sorry, that should be on the bottom here. 0.001 and 0.06 on the top. Okay, so I'm just going to press equals or execute on both of them, and let's see what happens. Well, it's actually not that much in it. You can see that the authentic one actually finished before the fake one. But what's interesting about this fake one is that it might actually be faster than the real one. So I'm going to give it a summation now. We're going to do the summation of x to the minus 2 like that, from x equals 1 all the way to x equals 500. And for fun, because why not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get my good old CG50 out, and we're going to compare the speed test between these three calculators. This result, by the way, is very interesting. I just want to show you this before we move on. If I press execute or equals now, this one finished first. Give it a moment. These two will take quite a while. This one has finished second. And surprisingly, the authentic Casio FX991EX is the last to finish. It hasn't even finished doing it yet. And we're still waiting. 5, 4, oh, there we go. And it's finished. So you can see that took quite a while. Now, I don't know why the fake one is working quicker than the real one. I would trust the real one to be quicker, but actually it's not. However, I haven't done enough rigorous testing to see if the results are more accurate from the real one than the fake one. I do just want to show you something. So for example, if I'm going to say goodbye to the CG50 for now, and let's focus back onto the 991EX. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is we're in the equation mode, and I've got a quartic with the equation 1000x to the power of 4 plus 984x cubed plus 665x squared plus 33x plus 1 is at 14,578,989. That's the last term. And we're going to see which one is faster in this case. So 3, 2, 1. You can see this one's finished, and then that one's finished. Now, as you can see, the answers are very much the same on both of them. If I press equals again, the second one actually gave the answer a lot faster, which is interesting. Third solution. Yes, it's interesting because sometimes this one is quicker and sometimes this one is quicker. So you really don't know, do you? And if I press it again to find the fourth solution, again there was a slight lag there. And there we go. So that was quite interesting there. Obviously, calculation speed is very important, but if you can't trust the calculator to give reliable outputs, then you shouldn't really be using it in an exam or where something really critical is needed. I also want to say some terrible fakes, like even worse than this one with the printing. When you calculate, for example, angles with sine, cos, and tan in like degrees and radians or whatever, it can get really wrong with that. Now, I think this one is pretty good at doing those angle calculations, but I would be testing it. If you don't have another calculator to check, then you can always go online to, say, for example, Wolfram Alpha, or just any other general online calculator that can do those trig functions for you. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the diagnostics mode. So this is a pretty cool secret. I will show you on the Nano One EX first, the real one. So if you press Shift 7 and on, it says diagnostics, press AC. But what you can do if you press, I want to press, before it disappears, if I press 6, then you can see I've got the options to do these different tests, right? Over here, I get diagnostic, press AC, but if I press 6, nothing happens, right? The only thing that is common in both of them is if I press 9, then you, if I press 9, then you go into the main diagnostics menu or whatever, right? But we're not going to get into that. I also want to add the diagnostics mode really messes with the contrast. Can you see the contrast is now terrible on this? You can barely see what's happening. What you got to do, you have to turn it on and off again for the contrast to return. So that is pretty much how to spot a fake Casio FX991EX. Now, to avoid getting a fake one in the first place, here are my personal recommendations. Number 1, don't get one. I know a lot of people really hate the Casio FX991CW, which you can see in my calculator collection tour. But honestly, if you get one of those, then you are pretty much guaranteed to get a real one rather than a fake one. Because since Casio have stopped the production of the 991EX last summertime, the CW came out in March of last year. So I think they must have stopped around May, June, July probably. Basically, if you buy a new one online or in person, some bookshops or like stationery shops, they will be fake, pretty much guaranteed. If you really despise the CW that much because of its menu-driven interface or whatever, and you really want an authentic one of these, have a look on eBay or other second-hand sellers to try and get one that's been used and bought before the fakes all started coming in, because that has a higher chance of being a real one. And if you are still skeptical when buying second-hand from like eBay or something, ask the I don't know if you can directly, but you could try asking the seller to send a picture of the QR code or send a close-up of the printing or any of the other stuff that I've talked about today. Because, well, if you're spending a lot of money, because some of the real ones go for like £50-60 now. If you're spending that amount of money, you really don't want to get scammed with one of these knockoffs, do you? But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I really do hope you've enjoyed and you've learned something about how to spot these fake calculators, how to try and get your hands on a real one if you can, but if not, please just do get the 991CW. If you have enjoyed this video, then a like would be very much appreciated. Like, subscribe to help out the channel, share the video, comment down below some things you want to see in the future, all of that YouTube stuff that YouTube people like to say, and I will see you in the next video, previous video, or whenever. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.